1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why aren't you getting audio from me? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Hold on. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just double checking, triple checking. Good stuff.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's great to see you all here. My name is Kevin Bentley, and I have the honour of being the leader of Essex County Council. But a greater honour today to introduce to you the next leader of our party and the next Conservative Prime Minister of our country. Now, I've known Priti for almost 20 years. I've known her as a candidate, I've known her as a colleague, and I've known her, more importantly, as a friend. And if you've got Priti as a friend, you've got a friend for life, and a friend who's on your side and stands up for you, campaigns with you, works hard with you, and never lets you down. And that's why she'll be a great friend to our party, which she's already, but a great friend to this country when she leads it in future years to come. And if you had to sum up Priti in simple words, for me it'd be this: loyalty, caring about people, and not just caring, but actually actively helping them. And when they're in all sorts of issues and all sorts of problems they have, whoever they are, she will do that. Also hard-working. I've never known, I think I work hard, but I've never known anyone like Priti hard-working. But the thing that really stands out for me is her determination to deliver in public service. Public service runs through her DNA. These are her values, and these are the values that have stayed true to her from the very first day I've met her to this day today, and the many years that are going to come as well. And that's the message to you, to the membership, to the MPs in our party, but also, more importantly, to the country. People know Priti, and people trust Priti, and people know what she really stands for. She also helps local businesses in her constituency as well as her constituents. She comes from a business background. She understands what business is like and what their concerns are. And she's never, ever shied away from listening to those concerns locally, to those local business people, which are the absolute heartbeat of our economy, and acting on those concerns. Now, I can tell you that not am I just the leader of Essex County Council, I'm a former chair of her Whittam Association. The current chair, India, is here today as well. And I can tell you that as a county councillor and as a Colchester City councillor, my ward and my division fall within Priti's constituency. And she's never ever failed to help when I've asked for help. Even when she was Home Secretary, when she was delivered in an armoured plated car with people walking around with guns on them, that sort of thing, protecting her, she would never fail to come and help. And it didn't matter who it was or what it was, if I said, we need help, there's a person here who needs some help, she would divert her agenda, divert her diary to come and help. And not so long ago, I had to hold a small public meeting for a number of people who had an issue with where they lived, and they wanted some real help that I could do in part as a county councillor, but I couldn't do it in all. I needed an MP to help. Without hesitation, she moved everything to be at that public meeting, and people couldn't believe their Member of Parliament was coming out on a Saturday morning to listen to them on something that was actually quite minor but important to them. She did that. That's the kind of person you have in Priti Patel. And campaigning, well, I've never known anyone to, again, I thought I was a good campaigner. I've never known anything like it. During the general election, I was saying to people, well, I've gone to Colchester to help James, and I've gone to North Essex to help Bernard, and I've obviously been in Whittam. That was in one day. I thought that was pretty good going. Priti, in one day, been to 18 constituencies in one day. That's how good she is. And she was still back in Whittam to help us as well. A phenomenal campaigner. No door left unknocked. That's the message with Priti. No person left unspoken to. And if you have a concern, and the number of times I knocked on doors of Priti, they knew her. They knew her, that she'd either helped them or they're aware of what she had done. And that is why, when we had that great misfortune in the general election, she won with a good majority. Because people like her and they trust her. She is a phenomenal campaigner, and she galvanises people too. So during this last election campaign, it was the middle of the summer, or start of the summer, wasn't it? It was hot days and long days, and as you got towards the end of the day and you're feeling a bit tired and, you know, can we give up? Priti would come in with all that energy that she has and say, come on guys, there's a few more doors to knock on, it's very important. And off we all went again. We did it because she galvanised us, she brought us together, she made us, not make us, we wanted to work hard and follow her, which is the most important thing. And that's why I'm very proud that she's my friend. I'm very proud that she's my Member of Parliament. I'm very proud that she's a colleague. As the leader of Essex County Council, no county council leader would want anyone better than Priti. We've got 18 MPs, all very good, and we've worked with them in various ways, but Priti, not just because she's my local MP, is always there. If I say to her, can you come to County Hall in Chelmsford, she will come. And conversely as well, she will hold us to account. I'm not frightened to do that either, and that's important. That's important. She'll hold anyone to account, even her friends. And she's done that to me, and I'm glad she's done that to me. It's made me a better leader of Essex County Council. So friends, colleagues, party members, I'm very proud today to introduce to you, as I said before, not just my friend, and in many cases your friend as well, but the next leader of our party and the next person who will be the Conservative Prime Minister of our great country. Thank you.
The Conservative and Unionist Party is the most successful political party in history. The British people place their faith in us. Why? Because we are the party of public service. And when the country needs us, we step up and deliver. The people have been our compass, and in turn, they gave us their trust. We lost that trust at the election. Our party turned inwards. We suffered our worst ever defeat.
Now, we must earn back the privilege to us by holding this government to account. We must show unity against their divisiveness, show strength.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. It's so good to see so many friends and colleagues here today and supporters. And Kevin, thank you for your super introduction. If anyone's going to motivate our members, it's absolutely Kevin. There's no doubt about that. The Conservative and Unionist Party is the greatest political party in the world. And I'm proud to stand here today for its leadership. Under my leadership, I will bring our party experience and strength, and I will get us back to winning ways. But before I say more about my offer to members of Parliament, my plans to empower our loyal and dedicated party members, and my commitment for our party to serve the nation and the British people with professionalism and integrity, I want to thank my fellow candidates, my colleagues for standing in this leadership contest. Some of you know we've been travelling across the country in recent weeks, debating in good spirits, but importantly, showing the country the very best of our party. And I pay credit to them, because when this contest is over, we'll work together to do what is right for our party and the country. Now, I don't need to remind anyone in this room as to why this leadership contest is taking place. And many column inches have been devoted to how we fell to such a historic defeat. I have heard loud and clear what the British people have had to say. And while we will reflect and learn on the lessons, under my leadership, our party will be firmly focused on the future. So today, 8 weeks on, our attitude will change. And we will draw a line in the sand, because it's time to move on and move forward. I'm an optimist with clear goals, and I will revive our party so that we can provide the leadership that our great country needs. Because conservatism has not failed. Our values and our principles remain as true as ever, and they are still shared by the majority of the public. Our love for our community and our country, our commitment to the rule of law, and our passion for furthering the conservative traditions of extending opportunity more widely by promoting freedom and enterprise to deliver security and success for our country. Those are timeless values. They bind the communities of Britain together and are the values that we Conservatives have championed more than any other political party. When I travel around our great country, I see how much our values mean to the British people. It makes me proud to be British when I see them in action every single day. I see the excitement of a young family getting their keys to their first home and valuing the security that comes with it, just as I did with my first home. I see the great research, inventions and innovations in our universities and businesses. I see the incredible care given to our hospitals, treating and curing conditions which have inflicted pain and suffering on our loved ones. I see inspirational teachers in our classrooms, helping to educate and develop our children. And I see brave police officers bringing order to our streets and confronting the perpetrators of crime. And I see the entrepreneur boldly taking a risk on new businesses, just like my parents did, while working 7 days a week to provide for their family and to give their children the chance to fulfill their dreams and achieve their potential. What I don't see is what Labour sees. Earlier this week, we had the spectacle of a Labour Prime Minister standing in the Rose Garden of Downing Street, delivering one of the most feeble, pitiful and dishonest speeches you will ever hear. He was feeble in his claim to say that he was tough with the trade unions in pay negotiations. That was after he immediately rolled over to appease his paymasters at the expense of the British taxpayer. He was pitiful to claim that he is locking up criminals after spending years in Parliament voting against tougher prison sentences for violent criminals and sex offenders, and campaigning to block the deportation of dangerous foreign national offenders. He was completely dishonest with his complaints and his claims about the British economy that he has inherited, which were clearly made to justify his nasty financial assault on the very people who deserve dignity in their retirement and who have spent their working lives contributing to the very fabric of our nation. That's our parents and our grandparents. From the painful and damaging tax rises upon Britain's hard-working families and businesses that we now know are coming, to the rot and the corruption of Starmer's cronies being appointed to the civil service, all we have seen over the last 56 days is a Labour government of self-service, politics without principle. While Labour are trash-talking Britain for their own desperate means, I see a proud and resilient country, a country that knows that we face challenges, but is determined to overcome them and is hungry for success. I see a country that pulled together to deliver the most successful rollout of the COVID vaccine. I see a country of world leaders in fintechs, in science, AI, agriculture, renewable technologies, just to name a few. And as we've seen in the Olympics and the Paralympics, a country of inspiring and world-beating sportsmen and women, we are not called Great Britain for nothing. And with our country now at the mercy of a self-serving Labour government, a reality that gets more frightening as each and every day passes, I will ensure that our party has all the tools needed to take them on and to send Starmer packing. For the Conservative Party, for it is our party, the Conservative Party. Unlike Labour, politics has always been about something much more than gaining power. It has been about serving the nation. We are a patriotic party, a national party who believes in the union and the matters which concern hard-working people every single day. And I will lead us from opposition to government so that we can serve the British people again and give them back the freedoms and the dignity that Labour would take away from them. And to do that, we will work with one team, with one voice, and with a meritocratic team built on our collective skills and experience. My clear offer to our Conservative parliamentary colleagues is this: Support me to be our next party leader, and I will lead you and support you to be the success we all want to see for our country and for our party. The professionalism I will bring to the party will restore our ability to campaign so that you can be leaders in your communities and take on and defeat the other parties challenging us from wherever they come on the political spectrum. The Reds, the Yellows, the Greens, and that non-conservative shade of blue which occasionally pops up at election time. And if you back me to be your leader, I will unite our parliamentary party. We are 121 MPs in Westminster. We are blessed with talent and experience from a wide range of backgrounds. And I promise you that under my leadership, every one of you will have a role to play in supporting our efforts to be the strongest and most effective team possible. Because I have seen before what we can achieve together when we work together to promote our values and serve our nation. As a Treasury Minister, I worked alongside our then Chancellor, cutting taxes and delivering economic stability for Britain. At DWP, alongside the formidable Ian Duncan-Smith, we worked to transform the welfare system and support people into employment and better paid work, putting into practice that conservative belief of the dignity and security that work provides. In DFID, I led the way for the transparency and effectiveness of overseas aid and tackled its exploitation and abuse. And when I was Home Secretary, we increased police officers to record numbers and gave them the powers to fight crime. We gave victims of crime more rights and improved services and support for the survivors of domestic abuse. We ended free movement and brought in reforms to our immigration and asylum system. We kept our country safe with new measures to protect our national security and our country from terrorist threats and hostile state actors. We did all of that and more. You have in me a leader who will fight for the British people and show how our values offer solutions and challenges to Britain as we face them today. Now, I want to address our amazing party members, our incredible grassroots activists, some of whom have joined us today from around the country. You are the heart and soul of our party. And for over 30 years, since the late, great Cecil Parkinson recruited me to join that cause, I have been proud to be a grassroots Conservative and to campaign across the country with you. Come rain or shine, in good times and in bad. You pound the pavements and knock on doors and deliver leaflets. You raise the funds to fight local campaigns. And you come face to face with the electorate, doing your best to persuade them to put their cross in the box of Conservative candidates standing for election. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you for everything that you do. Under my leadership, you'll no longer be taken for granted. I will give you back control of your party. And I have a plan for my first 100 days as leader to get the central party, that's CCHQ, working for you. I will empower you with more say over the policies we develop, drawing upon your expertise and ideas that you have. I will put in place a process for an elected chair of our party. And I'm going to reform the controversial and unacceptable parliamentary candidate selection process, which saw candidates imposed upon local associations parachuted down because they were chosen favourite. What CCHQ will do is to support the vetting, the training and the development of candidates, support you all to recruit the brightest and the best to put themselves forward to stand for our great party, and support local associations in target seats to select the candidates you want within the next 2 years so we can lead our Conservative communities back in that fight back for our party. But our fight back is more than just winning back the seats at the next general election. Under my leadership, our party will fight to win seats across every level of government. And that starts next year with the local elections. We have some brilliant leaders in local government championing Conservative values. And I know because I've worked with them around the country. From County Councillor Kevin Bentley, you heard from him earlier on, to Baroness Teresa O'Neill in Bexley, to our elected mayor in Teesside, Ben Houcham. They have all been at the forefront of delivering services to local communities, giving pride and hope to the places they live and to the people they serve. My heart wept to see the loss of so many hard-working Conservative councillors and local leaders over the last 2 years. Thousands of dedicated public servants who we all know within our local associations, delivering Conservative values for their communities, now no longer able to do so. I promise you this, that under my leadership we will once again become the largest party in local government. That's not all. We will campaign to hold the seats that we have, campaign to win back the seats that we have lost, and I will not stop at campaigning to get Conservative councillors elected. I know the incredible work that our Conservative Police and Crime Commissioners do. We have some here today, like Roger Hurst, Alison Hernandez, Rupert Matthews, Caroline Henry, David Lloyd, and Andrew Snowden, who is now one of our MPs. I've seen what they have done to recruit more police officers to fight crime and support the victims of crime. We lost too many of them in May's elections, and I'm going to campaign to get Conservatives back into those roles. And here in London, we will work tirelessly to get a Conservative mayor elected to our great city once more. I want to put to an end Sadiq Khan's high taxes, his soaring crime rates, his war on motorists, and the rotten governance that's taken place across our great capital city. And it is because we are the Conservative and Unionist Party that under my leadership, we will support colleagues in Wales and in Scotland to get them ready to fight the elections in the Senate and the Scottish Parliament in 2026. Now, I was in Scotland last week, and I cannot tell you how much damage the divisive and the corrupt nationalists have done to that proud nation. While they have obsessed over independence and camper vans, Scotland has suffered with failing educational standards in what was once a great system. Scotland has the highest rate of drug deaths in Europe, and Scotland has the highest tax levels than the rest of the United Kingdom. The people of Scotland deserve better, and we will offer them a brighter future. And in Wales, people have suffered for 25 years under Labour rule. A self-serving Labour government that Starmer has boasted will be the model that he wants to follow in England. With public services performing so poorly in Wales, with Welsh businesses battling government burdens, bureaucracy, and outright hostility to enterprise, and a self-serving Labour government only interested in spending £120 million of taxpayers' money, increasing the size of the Senate and giving Wales more politicians. I will work with our party in Wales to expose the failure of Labour. Now, to our members, wherever you are across our union, I say this: support me to be our next leader, and I will turn our party into a professional, competent election-winning machine. I'll make you proud again to wear our blue rosette and go out there and campaign for our great party. Now, I've spoken to our MPs and to our party members. Now I want to speak to the British people. In me, you have a leader who understands the challenges of our country, and I will guide you through them. I will never promise you what I can't deliver, and I will never tell you what I think you may want to hear because it sounds easy or simple to deliver. What I will offer you are credible and compelling plans for the future of our country, one which is anchored by our shared Conservative and British values. That is why I will always fight for your freedoms: free speech, free enterprise, and the freedom to keep more of what you earn and to live your lives how you choose. That's why I will always champion innovation over regulation, technology over taxation when it comes to improving our energy security. And that's why I will always stand up for law and order and strong border controls. That's why I will always support people across Britain to have their say about the future directions of their community. And that is why I will always promote choice and opportunity over state control. In me, you have a leader who offers you experience and strength, and who has spent their life fighting and winning battles. You do not get to stand here in my shoes if you have not faced down adversity, dealt with setbacks, and got through some difficult times. You might even say that those experiences have given me a core of steel. And in me, you have a Conservative leader motivated by values and a lifetime of public service. For my record of public service did not begin in May 2010 when I was elected Member of Parliament for Whittam, nor did it begin when I worked with William Hague to put the fire back in the belly of our party after 1997. It began more than 40 years ago, working in my parents' shop, serving customers on the shop floor, helping in a small family business at the heart of their local community, and being sent out on my bike by my father to deliver groceries and to check on regular customers who may not have been seen for a while. I am proud of the public service I gave 40 years ago, as I am of the public service I have given in one of the great offices of state. Public service is not just a phrase or a soundbite for me. It is ingrained in every fibre of my being, from working on the shop floor to being a proud mother, to standing up and representing the part of Essex that I stand in, and to putting our national interests first in government. I will always give committed and dedicated service to our country. And under my leadership, the Conservative and Unionist Party will serve every part of the United Kingdom with professionalism. We will work with humility to earn back your trust. And we will be one united team, with one voice, promoting our shared values, serving our nation, and we will unite to win. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, I'm going to take a series of questions. Before we come to the press, I'm going to take some questions from our members, from our activists, that have been submitted in advance. So can I start with Emily Hudson?
Hi, Priti.
Hi, Emily. Nice to see you.
Thank you for a really uplifting speech. I'm sure everyone can agree. I just wanted to ask that as a young person, as a young Tory in particular, I found it a bit of a hard sell recently with my friends to get them to vote Conservative, especially after the last government, which we won't go into. So I just wanted to ask what you would do to incentivise more young people to vote Conservative. And secondly, I'd love to know your thoughts on Keir Starmer removing the portrait of Margaret Thatcher from Downing Street.
Emily, that's great. That's really thank you. Thank you for joining us today as well. So, believe it or not, Emily, when I joined the Conservative Party 30 years ago, we were the party for young people, and we had the energy, the enthusiasm, and that's where we need to be all over again. Because the reality is, we are just not appealing to the next generation, because we are not supporting them when it comes to our own values and beliefs and helping them to get on in life. The Conservative Party used to be the party for young people, because if you wanted to work hard, succeed, get on in life, this was the place to be. And I can tell you now, under my leadership, that's exactly what I will do. I will make us compelling, attractive, show that if you want to get on in life, this is the party that can absolutely represent you and others, a whole generation of young people, because that's who we are as Conservatives. On Keir Starmer, well, where should we start? 56 days in office, and he seems to be spending more time removing portraits of great, strong Conservative female leaders rather than getting on and doing the strong job of governance. If he wants a picture to replace Margaret Thatcher, he can always have this one. But it does tell me... I think it tells us everything, really, about his priorities. His priorities are not on serving the country. His priorities are literally just about tinkering at the margins, hiding behind great portraits of great Conservative female prime ministers. That's why we need to get him out of office. So the next question is from Eileen Pallan.
Thank you, Priti. With Labour removing the social care cost cap yesterday, despite Wes Streeting saying on the 16th of June on the Laura Kuenssberg show that they absolutely would not do that. Could you tell me what you will do as the leader of the Conservative Party to support our older people who will require social services going forward?
So thank you, Eileen. Well, I think this just sums up this Labour government. Nasty, cruel, hostile when it comes to literally people that have contributed all their lives, contributed to the fabric of our nation. And it's just another example of their nasty assault on our pensioners. I think, first of all, you know, it was our care cap that we put in place. So we should absolutely be calling them out on that. But recognising the importance that people need security in older life. And we cannot have punitive policies. So working with me, I'm going to work constructively to deliver and develop the right policies that support people in their elderly years with dignity, with the care and compassion that, you know what, is intrinsic to our Conservative values and beliefs, and that's what we need to be doing. Rags Sandhu has another question. Hello, Rags.
Hello, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm a councillor from the London Borough of Bexley. So thank you very much for mentioning our leader's name there earlier. Just a quick question to do with the Reform Party. Could you, as leader of our party, what tools are you prepared to give us to fight off, obviously, the Reform voters? When I mean fight off, I don't mean just the 5 of them in Parliament. I'm on about the many thousands who obviously voted for him. Thank you.
Well, let me just start by paying tribute to all our activists in the general election, not just those that are here, but across the country, because it was the most gruelling general election campaign I've certainly fought in my lifetime as a Conservative activist. So reform are just one factor, there's no doubt about that. The reality is, Rags, we have to go back to being the true Conservative Party that we stopped being, effectively. We were trying to be all things to all people. And the key thing to all of this is that we do have to ensure that we always stand up for public values, the values of the country, the British people, and show that they're our compass, and that we're just not talking about sidebar issues that, you know, consume the parliamentary party all the time. And I'm absolutely determined to ensure that we become that election-winning machine all over again, regardless who our political opponents are across the political spectrum, whether it's Reform, the Lib Dems, the Greens, because it varies across the country. We need to be out there being a champion for the British people and standing up for them and being an authentic Conservative Party. Alex Clarkson.
Thank you. Dame Priti, it's an honour to be here, and not least because I was actually one of those parliamentary candidates that you came to support. And you didn't just come and campaign with me, you did a fundraising reception, and then you kept in contact. You hugely supported my campaign. Your team with social media videos, you endorsed me, you got the endorsement of others. So publicly, I'd just like to say, as a parliamentary candidate, thank you for that.
Thank you.
You are the heart and soul of the grassroots, and you truly believe, like me, that that is the way forward. But I just wanted to know, as a parliamentary candidate, what's your view to reform our party internally, to make it an election-winning machine again? And I guess the question on everyone's lips, listen, Labour lost historically in 19, and yet they won 8 weeks ago. Can we do the same? In your heart, do you genuinely think that we can win the next general election?
You bet we can, absolutely, Alex. There's no question about that. You bet. Alex, first of all, thank you, because you're a formidable candidate in Stevenage, and it was a great privilege to come and campaign with you, support you. You had a fabulous team as well. So, you know, all credit to everyone that was behind you and supporting you day in, day out during that election campaign. But this is it, right? This is where the rubber hits the road. And it is about reforming our party, making us match fit all over again. This country does not want, you know, this really self-serving Labour government that has been dishonest with the British people. It did not say that it would do 3/4 of the things that it's now doing during the general election campaign. So, number one, we're going to call that out. But when it comes to reforming our party, the campaigning machine, you've heard me say that I have a 100-day plan, which will absolutely ensure that as grassroots members, as an activist, as a future parliamentary candidate, you take control back of the party. It's your party serving you. It's no longer a remote centralised party that is sending out leaflets and templates and telling you what to do. In fact, you'll be the one asking them for the support and the resources and effectively telling them what works and what doesn't work. And that's how we change. We have to have much more democracy in our party. We have to bring the brightest and the best, like yourself and so many others, to bring your experiences together to show the party at a national level, yes, what works, but demonstrate at a grassroots how we can deliver good wins in Stevenage at the next general election and to get individuals like you into Parliament. Right. So I'm going to take some questions from the media, and first of all, I'm starting off with GB News. Chris Hope.
Yep, okay.
Hello, Chopper.
Dame Priti, Christopher Hope, GB News. You're seen as the most right-wing candidate of the 6 candidates to replace Rishi Sunak. You're proud of your grassroots Conservative base, but you won't apologise for record net migration under your government's watch. You didn't vote against the smoking ban when you had a chance to. How can you reconcile and win back Reform voters from that position? And if you were Prime Minister, would you remove a portrait of Tony Blair?
Margaret Thatcher's going straight back on the rule. Let me just get that on the record first of all. Well, look, number one, I'm not going to play that game of soundbite politics. You've just heard me also give a speech about freedom and Conservative values and beliefs. And Chopper, you know, when it comes to freedom, it's freedom as to how we live our lives. You've also seen what I've said in recent days around the smoking ban, what that is going to mean, actually, for businesses, for pubs, the hospitality sector. I think just before the general election, I was spending a lot of time with the hospitality sector, not just in my own constituency, but elsewhere. The other point, just to say on this issue, is that we've got a government that wants the police, the very people that should be policing our streets, to be policing beer gardens and things of that nature. In my view, we need the police on the streets, not in beer gardens. They need to be doing their job. And, you know, this is exactly where we need to unpick this awful Labour government. BBC, Harry?
Thank you. Harry Farley from BBC News. You talk about losing the confidence of the British people. Do you recognise your own role in that, given that, as Home Secretary, immigration did skyrocket and hit record figures?
So, Harry, first of all, let me be very, very clear with you and the public. On my watch, from 2019 onwards, we delivered the structural reforms to the immigration and asylum system. That was the introduction of a points-based immigration system, which effectively means that the government of the day has the levers to control who comes into our country and who does not come into our country, and that includes numbers. So if we want to get into the politics of sound bites and just giving out spurious numbers without any context, let me just put some context to everybody here and at home. Are we now saying that those NHS workers that came here during the pandemic were not welcome and that we should be sending them back? Are we saying that we were insincere to the people that came from Hong Kong, the BNOs and the Ukrainians when war in Europe took place? That is certainly not the Conservative Party that I represent. And I think when it comes to immigration, context does matter. It is far too simple, far too lazy to just speak about numbers without that context. Sky News, Darren.
First of all, there's been an awful lot of focus on reform, but what about the Lib Dems? They won dozens of seats from the Conservative Party. What's your message to those Conservative voters who switched to the Liberal Democrats this time? And second of all, I noticed there weren't any kind of policies in your speech. If you had one eye-catching policy to sum up your campaign, what would it be?
So I think, first of all, we have to become a party that broadens our appeal and touches parts of the country where people left us. In fact, I actually think that we moved away from huge swathes of the British people. And that is because of our performance, our conduct over the last 2 years, shenanigans that took place in Westminster, and the standards that fell very low. So recognising that is incredibly important. But we have to go back to being champions of the issues that matter to people every single day. Because, Darren, speaking about sidebar issues that just consume, you know, a group of MPs in Westminster, will not pay people's taxes, will not get people, give them the economic security that they absolutely want and deserve for them and their families. And that's at the heart, that is absolutely at the heart of not just my campaign, who I am as a Conservative, but where we should be as a Conservative party. So you've asked about policies. It's not just about eye-catching policies, it's about policies that are true to who we are. policies that mean something to people, not soundbites. And of course, that has to be the long-term economic security for the British people. That is crucial. It's for them, it's for their families, and it's not what we're about to see under Starmer's government. Basically, inflation busting pay increases for his trade union friends, for the way in which he's conducting himself and bringing standards in public life down to a new low. We have to be literally where the British people are, and I can say this to all of you now. The British people are where my compass is, and that's where we need to be as a party. Harry Cole.
Good morning. I think the overbearing message from the general election is that the country wants to hear less from the Tories for a long time. Yet you're insisting as a party on dragging out this leadership election for another 2 months, culminating in the slightly bizarre spectacle of the defeated Prime Minister being the one to respond to the budget at the end of October. Do you think the leadership election should be expedited? And surely it should be for the new leader to set the agenda and respond to one of the most significant budgets in a very long time. And if I may, do you still want to bring back the death penalty?
So, Harry, first of all, this leadership contest is, the rules have been set, they've been determined, and that's the time frame. And everybody is crystal clear about the time frame. They really are. And on your latter question, the answer is no, and you know exactly where I stand on law and order and supporting the police and ensuring that our police officers are given the powers and the tools to do their job, which is a complete contrast to this Labour government and to Keir Starmer and his Home Secretary that voted against all the laws and legislation that I put forward on those issues. So I think we have the Express. Is it Michael Knowles? Michael?
Thank you, Dame Priti. Michael Knowles from the Daily Express. We're now in the midst of what looks like the busiest period in the Channel. So if you're elected as leader, how will you stop the votes?
Thank you, Michael. And obviously your paper writes a lot about the asylum system and illegal migrants coming to our country. It's pretty obvious that Keir Starmer, Yvette Cooper, the Labour government simply do not have a plan. And one of the most damaging things that they have done is effectively tear up the operational delivery plans that I put in place. And Michael, you've asked me what I would do. Do you know what I would do? I would absolutely implement the National Anti-Borders Act. I would bring forward the new plan for immigration, which was government policy, which have that differentiation between asylum accommodation with reception and detention centres. We would have strong laws and strong deterrents in place, and we should be looking at a third country. And the sad thing is we will never know now whether that Rwanda policy will work, because this government have just torn it up. And that is why we've got record numbers of people coming over in small boats to our country illegally, and this government does not have a plan. David Churchill, Mel.
Thanks, David Churchill from the Mail. If you're lucky enough to win the leadership and win the keys to number 10, will you bring back Boris? Do you see a place for him in your cabinet, and what sort of role does he have to play in public life? And also on winter fuel payments, there's obviously a lot of anger that they've been taken away from pensioners. Would you run on a ticket to give them those payments back?
So I think, first of all, our party owes Boris Johnson a great deal. He's a man that won us the 2019 general election and, you know, motivated the grassroots and actually was a true leader. He really was. That's a matter for him now, obviously, in terms of his choices, what he chooses to do going forward. On winter fuel payments, I could not be clearer. I could not be clearer about this government and the shameful way in which they are treating our pensioners, our parents, our grandparents, the very people that deserve dignity in retirement. And I will back them, I will support them, we will ensure that we have the resources to give them the dignity in retirement that they absolutely deserve. And I've been standing by the whole approach in terms of standing against this awful, rotten government, against their plans to abolish these winter fuel payments. I have Amy Gibbons from The Telegraph.
Thank you, Dame Priti. Amy Gibbons from The Telegraph. Just again on Boris, you're seen as a big ally of his. Can I ask if he's offered you any support or advice for the leadership campaign? And then secondly, can I please get your thoughts on Labour's plans to give workers new rights to demand a 4-day week? Are you worried about the potential impact on productivity?
So I don't need to repeat what I've said about Boris. He's just been phenomenal to our party and actually for our country, in my view, as well. In terms of the 4-day week, this absolutely sums up this Labour government. It really does, at every single level. Imposing more burdens and bureaucracy and red tape, regulation onto businesses, the very people that employ people. Employ those that get on in life, work hard, and this will have devastating impacts for those businesses, but importantly for our economy. Labour claim to talk about growth. It's obvious that they do not have a growth plan. All this Labour government are doing right now is appeasing and rolling over to their trade union paymasters. And that should be a sobering thought for us all, it really should. You know, some people here will remember what the 1970s were like. We saw unemployment, inflation, a winter of discontent, and quite frankly, as I keep saying, Labour have no plan for our country, and they definitely don't have a plan for the economy. And Peter Walker from The Guardian. Hello, Peter. Hi.
Hiya. Thank you for taking the question. If I could return very, very slightly to an earlier question. Do you think the party, and in particular you, are focusing enough on the voters the Conservative Party have lost to the left? Reform UK won 5 MPs, Lib Dems won 72, and a good 60 of them were taken away from you. And if you speak to kind of soft Conservative voters who are tempted to move to Lib Dems or just not vote, a lot of them really disliked the Boris Johnson era and really disliked what the last, I don't know, 6 or 7 years of Conservative rule were like. Can you say anything to them that would tempt them back to your party?
Well, thank you, Peter. The answer is yes, of course. And the way we win people back is actually moving back to being that authentic Conservative Party where we're standing up for our country, for people's interests. And it just seems so self-evident that over recent years, we should be honest about this, particularly in the last few years, our party got wrapped up in literally squabbles in Westminster, verbal assaults upon each other. That is divisive and that does not show unity. And my complete proposition is about uniting, speaking with one voice, having one team. We have to literally have the British people as our compass. And I'd be proud to do that because it is standing for them, demonstrating that we are not remote from them. I had people say to me in the general election that your party is out of touch, your party is selfish. Well, I don't resonate with those terms at all, I really don't. And we have to be there to show that we understand what their daily lives are like, some of the struggles and the challenges that they face, and that we have the solutions to those challenges. And that, Peter, is how we win them back and give them the trust and confidence by demonstrating that we are a professional political party, serving our nation, ready to serve, and ready to support people across the country, wherever they are. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thank you very much.